Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Howdy, ni hao ma. I'm Dr. Brian David Phillips, and I'd like to say, live trance and prosper. Hi, okay. Well, this is going to be a short, fun video, I hope, or an informative, less fun one. I do not know, but I do know that I'm going to be talking about how focused experiential trance can change your brain. That's right. Experiential trance, that's somnambulistic hypnosis or active meditation, active prayer, involved meditation, guided imagery at the experiential level. All of these can actually change structures in your brain in a good way. Okay, we're not talking bad brain change, we're talking the good kind. Ooh. So, let's get to her. How does experiential trance change your brain? Well, first, you need to practice. All right, some people are naturally gifted at entering into certain types of trance states, and some people need to practice a bit. Now, I know some of my colleagues in the hypnosis community say that anyone and everyone can be hypnotized, and I absolutely agree with that. But I also agree with those who say that some of us have a higher aptitude than others. So some of us need to practice a bit more to be able to get to the levels and to the experiential sets that really matter. Okay. Now, a lot of the research that's been done has been done on mindfulness meditation or certain types of meditation practices, TM, things like that, rather than just zoning out and daydreaming. Now, daydreaming is awesome, daydreaming is cool, but some folks, when they daydream, they're just closing their eyes and resting. And that's very beneficial, don't get me wrong, but it's not an experiential trance. Experiential hypnosis, experiential trance sets is where you're actively involved in the trance process, in building the trance state. And that's important, okay? It's a intensification of imaginative involvement. Those of you who are familiar with my Society of Experiential Trance, you recognize that phrase from our definition of experiential trance and experiential hypnosis. That's a bypassing the critical factor of the conscious mind by a series of formal rituals engaging us in intensified imaginative involvement. All right. Now, it's really simple. If you practice, you get better at this stuff. Whether you're running or shooting basketballs, practice may not make perfect, but does indeed enhance skill sets. Now, you may be familiar with mastery and the work of folks like Kay Anders Erickson or Malcolm Gladwell, who popularized the concept of 10,000 hours is when you get really good at something. That's when you gain true mastery or excellence in competence. Now, you don't actually have to meditate or be hypnotized for 10,000 hours to gain benefit, but the more you practice, the better you get at it. So, practice every day. And if you like, you can do a long-term practice every day, or go to one of the retreats. I have friends who go. I live in Taiwan. I live in Asia, And so meditative practice is very common here, and there are plenty of camps and things like that where folks go to. I have a few dear friends who have gone to meditation camp for 3 months, where they literally meditated 9 hours a day. You don't have to put that kind of dedication into your trance work, but you will see some structural change if you do so, or just take a few minutes every day. On my website, www.briandavidphillips.net, you can look in the right sidebar, check out the categories in the guided imagery section. It's got some nice little MP3s you can listen to streaming for members, or download the suckers. You can purchase some of them if you like, or some of my hypnosis sessions. The full session of the ultra trance or the higher self sessions are very good for folks who really want to get into this stuff, or just do the short guided imageries. The garbage can, very popular, very helpful. 6 minutes. 6 minutes in the morning, 6 minutes in the evening, boom. Ba-da-ba. All right, but you need to practice. Practice, gain your skill sets. And these principle of practice, it applies to your inner states of mind. You really want to work on your intensified imaginative involvement so that you really feel engaged in the process. That's how we get meditation or experiential trance or experiential hypnosis to really work. Seriously, it's like strengthening a muscle. If I do this every day, maybe I need some weights, so I have some weights, and I lift those weights every day in a reasonable practice, those muscle groups get better. They get stronger. And your brain isn't a muscle, it's an organ, sorry, but there are structures in your brain that when you work them, they develop more readily. I was just reading a very interesting piece on brain scans of musicians, and they found that the brain scans of pianists were very different from other musicians. There are structures in your brain that are related to, for instance, your handedness. You're right-handed or left-handed. Now, musicians use both hands usually, but pianists are unique in that, for instance, a guitarist is going to be using da da, and it's the left hand does lots more work, typically. Okay, but a pianist, they've got to use both hands all over the damn place if they're going to play, and so they found that for normal people, most folks, when we look at their brain scan, if they're right-handed, there's a certain part that's a little more developed than the other part. And left-handed, it's the opposite. But for pianists, it's very similar to folks who are ambidextrous. And that's because pianists had to practice so that the difference becomes lessened. Even if they do have a dominant hand, they really have practiced those muscles and developed the structures in the brain. Meditation does that too. And so the more you practice, for instance, Richard Davidson at the University of Wisconsin found that when he looked at Buddhist monks and other folks who do a lot of meditation, and he looked at their brain scans, he found that what he said was strengthening neural systems is not fundamentally different from other types of practice. It's basically replacing certain habits of mind with other habits. So practice your meditation, practice your experiential trance, get intensified imaginative involvement, and really feel the difference. In fact, you can build your own inner capacity for empathy, for relaxation and stress reduction without being a monk, okay? Without joining a monastery. Neuroscientists say that if you make a habit out of meditation, it strengthens the brain circuits that are responsible for maintaining concentration and generating empathy. This isn't just meditation though. This is experiential trance. So experiential hypnosis, experiential guided imagery, any sort of trance work where we have intensified imaginative involvement. Now the study found that expert trance workers or meditators, the Wisconsin study that is, they found those with over 10,000 hours of practice, they appeared to have permanently changed their brains. The structures of their brains were permanently changed to be more empathic, or empathetic, not empathic. They had more empathy, okay? They also had less stress. Now, if you can't sit down and do 10,000 hours worth of practice, you might imagine how a little bit more work over time, you eventually get your hours in. But you know what's really awesome? Get the young doing it early. Teach children how to meditate. Long, long ago, when dinosaurs walked the earth, and I was a child in elementary school, we had special classes. One of the kids in my class, her mother taught meditation, and she would do these special classes for the kids and teach us meditation. Now, I could never get a handle on sitting in the lotus position. Even as a small child, didn't really do it for me. But I learned how to sit and contemplate. All right, so teach kids how to do this stuff, how to meditate and get their brain structures moving. And society eventually has more empathy, and we can start breeding out all the sociopaths that our culture has been breeding and developing. Let's change culture. Let's change society in absolutely good ways. 10,000 hours seems like it's a long time. Seems like a lot of time, but every moment of intentional practice actually makes a difference. Okay, you don't have to be Mr. Universe of trance work or of trance engagement. You can just do a little bit, and eventually you're going to be fine. You'll build it up for yourself. Just take some time to be still, to focus, to connect with your breathing, and attune yourself to loving kindness. That builds neurocapacity. The key is practice. A little bit every day. You know, that road to get to Oz, following the yellow brick road, it's a step at a time. So why don't you take that? Or not. It's up to you. All right. And that, my friends, is the benefits of experiential trance and how experiential trance can change structures in your brain in a good way. Okay, so get out there and change your brain structures and have some fun while you do it. This has been Dr. Brian David Phillips. Be sure to check out my blog and my website. Buy my stuff if you like, or just snoop around the blog. Actually, there's a lot of really interesting free stuff there, and so check it out. But until I see you next time, this is Dr. Brian David Phillips saying, live trance and prosper. Bye-bye.